है ना? भैया इनके लिए तो 6 नाइस ना?
और दिखाओ मैडम।
स्टील टोस दिखाओ ना।
अच्छा लग रहा है ये,
है ना? भैया इनके लिए तो 6-7 इंच वाली हील दिखा दो।
ठीक है।
हाँ बेटा बोल।
माँ,
हाँ
मैंने टीचिंग एग्जाम क्लियर कर लिया।
सच? भैया
हाँ जी।
फ्लैट सी दिखाइए।
क्यों, क्या हुआ? कद बढ़ाने के लिए अब लटकना शुरू करोगी दिन रात 24/7?
बेटी ने अड्डा 24/7 ज्वाइन किया और टीचिंग एग्जाम क्लियर किया। और बच्चे जब तरक्की करते हैं ना तो माँ बाप का कद अपने आप बढ़ जाता है।
अड्डा 24/7 की एक्सपर्ट एंड एक्सपीरियंस्ड फैकल्टी और क्वालिटी एजुकेशन से आप तैयार होते हैं बैंकिंग, टीचिंग, एसएससी जैसे अनेक कम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स को क्लियर करने के लिए और एक अच्छा करियर बनाने के लिए।
अड्डा 24/7 जॉब है तो रॉब है।
Hello everyone, welcome to Officers Adda247. So hearty welcome to all the bankers in this early morning class. So like in this week your examination is scheduled, so I'm hoping that everyone just started your preparation. Okay, so if you're new on the Officers Adda247, hit the subscribe button and download the Adda247 application. Okay, so before to moving further, I would like to say there is a case study batch that you can join, as well as there is a selection batch that you can join, as well as there is a revision batch also that is introduced that you can also join with the help of the code that is Y422. Okay, so with the code that is Y422 you can join still in the Adda247 store any batches that you feel just comfortable in that. Okay, and you are going to get the live classes, recorded classes, mock test, ebooks, everything you are going to get like on that batches. Okay, so quickly I'm just going to start the session now and with the very first question here. So just understand and just tell me what would be the answer of this question, because now I think everyone just practiced so much questions here. Okay, so quickly just try to solve the questions by your side first. Okay. So in this question what you have to find out, you have to first calculate the inventory turnover ratio. What I told you that in the ratio analysis chapter you never have to memorize any formulas. Okay, like you can solve any questions of the like ratio analysis by formulating by your own. Okay, how you can formulate by your own, just understand this. This is a question of the inventory turnover ratio. Now understand, in financial year, if we're talking about for the inventory, that actually comes 2 times in the financial statement. One that is known as the opening, another one that is known as a closing inventory. Okay, so like instead of using the inventory, we rather use the term that is average inventory. Okay, because it comes 2 times in the financial statement, one that is opening inventory and another one that is closing inventory, and it should be divided by the 2. Okay, so what is the value of the average inventory? So you will say that is 18,000 plus 22,000, that will make the 40,000. so average inventory that should be your 20,000 rupees, like you first thing that is you calculated. Okay, now when we talk about the inventory turnover ratio, so you can understand turnover is related to the sales, and when we talk about we have to find out the inventory turnover ratio, so this is something that we have to find out the cost of the sales. Okay, so now what is the formula of the inventory turnover ratio? You will say that is a cost of goods sold and it is divided by the average inventory. Right, now how to find out the cost of goods sold? Look, when we talk about the cost of goods sold, what is the formula of that? So you will say that is the opening stock. Okay, opening stock plus net purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. Okay, so opening stock that is given the 18,000, so we will just write here 18,000 plus net purchases that the value is given the 46,000, so just write here direct expenses. When we talk about the wages, carriage inward, that all considered as a direct expenses, so 14,000 plus 4,000 and minus closing stock, so that will be your 22,000. Now just quickly just solve this. What the answer you will get here, just try to solve this. 18,000 minus 22, this will minus 4,000 and this will become the 42,000, right? 42 and 46 and 46 and 14, that will become your 60,000. Okay, so cost of goods sold that will become the 60,000. and the average inventory, that is your 20,000. So what would be the answer here? You will say that is 3:1 or the 3 times. That should be the answer for this question. I am hoping that you all just understanding this, right? Okay. Fine. Okay, so I'm just explaining another question here. So which concept requires that those transactions which can be expressed in terms of the money should be recorded in the books of account? You know, when we talk about the concept, like accounting concept, that is also very important thing that ask in the examination. Okay, definitely that means some questions that is definitely going to ask in the examination, like when we talk about the accounting concept. Okay, now when we talk about the cost concept, then you can understand cost concept is what that we can understand when we are just talking about that asset should be just recorded like in what price that is actually purchased. Okay, not like when we talk about the market price. So that is known as a cost concept. Money measurement concept, that you can understand, which can be expressed in terms of the money, should be recorded in the book of the transaction, that should book of the account. That means the only transaction that is going to record it that you can express in terms of the money. Okay, so that is known as a money measurement concept. That is the correct. Okay, third is a business entity concept. So a business entity concept is actually just clarifies the business. Okay, that is also the entity. Okay, so when we talk about due to business entity concept, owner and the business both are the different. Okay, so that's why thus like if owner started the company with some capital, so same capital is known as a cash for the owner and the capital for the company, and that is also considered as a liability for the company. Okay, so the correct answer that should be here, what it should be, that is a money measurement concept. That should be the correct answer for this question, right? Next question. Cost of installation is a very high in case of when we talk about, there are 3 softwares that you have to understand in the accounting in computerized environment. The first is a ready to use, second is a customized, and the tailor, and third is a tailor made. Now understand, when we talk about the ready to use software, you can understand that software that is easily available in the market, that is known as a ready to use software. So if I just ask you that is there cost of installation is a high in this case of a ready to use software, so you will say that is no. Okay, because it is easily available in the market. Okay, so that means it is this is easily available in the market. Customized software, when you just going to modify some changes in the ready to use software, that it is known as a customized software. When we talk about the tailor made software, you can understand it is especially prepared for the specifically. Okay, so it is specifically prepared for the your like when we just talking about especially for the particular person, for the particular company, so then it is known as your tailor-made software. Okay, so like especially prepared for the particular person, particular company, then we can just term as a tailor-made software. And yes, cost of installation is a very high in case of the tailor-made software, that you have to understand. Okay, right? So I think this is clear to everyone. Okay, next question. The capital of the firm that is given, liabilities are given, and losses are given, so the total asset what should be. Remember the one thing, when we talk about that balance sheet, so how we prepare the balance sheet, then if you just understanding the balance sheet performer, then there you will see, that under the liability section, when we just recording all the liabilities there, at the last of the thing that we discuss the capital there. Okay, and in the capital we actually add the net profit and deduct the net losses and deduct the drawings. Okay, and drawings always considered as the withdrawal of the owner for its personal use. Okay, now when we talk about that, in the capital we have to add or deduct the profit or the losses respectively. Now when we talk about the capital of the firm, that is exactly given here, that is a 2,50,000 rupees, and the liabilities are given, losses are given the 40,000. Immediately you have to subtract losses in the capital, so there will be the net, you can understand the net capital, that will become 2,10,000 rupees, right? Okay. Now after that we have to find out the total asset, and you know that the accounting equation, or we say the balance sheet equation, is all about the asset is equal to liability plus capital. Okay, either say capital, either say equity, okay, either say net worth, whatever the term you can say, that all considered as a liability for the company, because that is actually introduced by the another one, okay, other than the company, right? So asset is equal to liability plus capital, or you can say also the equity here. Okay, so when we talk about, we have to find out the asset here, liabilities are given, rather, that is 60,000, while the net capital, that is given the 2,10,000 rupees, right? So what will be the total value of the asset? Then you will say that is the, it will be the 2,70,000 rupees. That should be the correct answer for this question. Okay, I'm hoping that that everyone is understanding this, how to solve the questions in the examination. Next. Again, the question is belongs to the same accounting equation or the balance sheet equation. The only thing that you have to understand the term here. So here the total asset, that is given the 2,60,000, net worth, that is given 1,60,000. So this we can consider as a net worth is given, that is 1,60,000, and the profit is given, that is 20,000. So we can understand in the net worth, if we add the 20,000 rupees, so the total net worth, that should be your 1,80,000 rupees. Now you have to understand asset is equal to liability plus equity or capital or the net worth. So we will just write here that asset value is given 2,60,000, liabilities value is given, liabilities we have to find out. Okay, one more important thing, that we have to find out the creditors. Okay, so just understand the very simple thing, that debtors always considered as an asset for the company, while creditors always considered as a liability for the company. Okay, rather you can also say that is a current liability, or this is known as a current asset. Okay, now so liability, that means amount of the creditors, that means we have to find out the liabilities here, and that should be just added with the 1,80,000. Now you can understand the liabilities, that would be on 80,000, and this is nothing but the this is nothing but the value of the given of the creditors, okay, or the amount of the creditors that is given here. So this is how you have to solve the questions of the capital, and you will definitely going to get the questions in the examination, so you have to understand better here. Okay, right? Next question. Net working capital of the firm, that is given, okay, and the current ratio, that is given, its current liabilities and the assets, that you have to find out. Now understand, working capital is nothing but the current asset over the current liability, that's it. That means working capital is equal to the current asset minus current liability. Now you can understand net working capital of the firm, that is given the 80. Okay, so if the net working capital, that is given the 80 here, and current asset minus current liability, there is no data is given, rather given the data of the current ratio, that will be equal to the current ratio divided by the current asset, current asset divided by the current liability, and the ratio is given the 1.5:1, or you can also say that is given the 3:1. Okay, so if I have to further solve this, then how I can just solve this, just understand this. So current asset we can just write in the form of the 3x, or the current liability we can find out like just writing in the 2x. Further, if we just going to put this value into the first of equation, so you will find the value of the x, that is 80, and you have to just multiply in this, and you have to just multiply it with this, and the value of the current asset, that is 240, while current liability value, that is 160. So the correct answer, current liabilities, that is 160 and the 240, so that should be the correct answer here. Okay, so I am hoping that everyone is understanding this, right? Next question. A starts a business with the 80,000 rupees. Now understand the concept, that what I told you about the business entity concept, that actually define the entity, like it actually define the business as an entity. Okay, Now A start the business with the 80,000 rupees. Always just make the equation like in this way, that is asset is equal to liability plus equity. Now A start the business with the 80,000 rupees. Same is known as cash for the owner and same is known as a capital for the company for the first condition. So cash would be 80,000 and the capital would be same 80,000. Now for the second condition, then purchase goods from B on credit for 21,000 rupees. And if it is just going to be credit like purchase on the credit, then you can understand this should be considered as a liability for the company. That means liability of the 21,000 of the company. While it is purchasing the goods, that means it also increases the stocks in the factory. Okay, so what I will just write here, I will just write here cash plus goods, or you can also say the stocks or inventory, and this will be equal to your liability plus capital, right? So cash is amounting to of the 80,000 rupees, goods of amounting of the 21,000 rupees, right? And this will become the 21,000 plus 80,000 rupees, and this will we will write in this way 1,01,000, and this will be 21,000 plus 80,000 rupees. So this will be your equation. The correct answer, that should be the first of one. Okay, this is how the same way you have to do the questions in the examination also, right? Next question. Net working capital is not calculated as what? Okay, just understand the question first. Net working capital, what we understand by the working capital, that is current asset minus current liability. Okay, now we can also just understand the current asset minus current liability. That means that clearly indication of the current asset is just greater than the current liability, right? Now understand, the working capital is not calculated as from which options, like the surplus of the fixed asset over the current liability. So in the first option, that is given the non-current asset, because fixed asset is known as a non-current asset. Those assets you cannot convert like beyond the 1 year. Those assets are known as a non-current asset minus current liability. The first option that is given. Surplus of the long-term fund or liabilities, that means long-term fund you can, or the liabilities that is given over the long-term asset, that means non-current liability and the non-current asset that is given. Third option, that is given the surplus of the current asset over the current liability. So what should be the correct answer for this question? Then definitely you will say the correct option, that is first or second, is not calculated for the net working capital. So the correct answer, that should be the A here. Okay, because the net working capital is actually known as a current asset minus current liability, but question is for the not calculated. So that's why we are just marking the only first and the second, right? Next question. Trade receivables are given, we have to find out the current ratio. When we talk about the current ratio, we have to just find out the current asset and the current liabilities in the question. Okay, now understand a very important thing. When I talk about the trade receivables are given, okay, so trade receivables are given, that you can understand the trade receivables, that means something that is going to be received by the company. So that is known as what? That is known as a current asset for the company. Payable, that means something that is have to pay the company. So that is known as a current liability for the company. Prepaid expenses, that expenses already paid by the company. So this is known as a current asset. Inventory, when we talk about the inventory, that is a stock, that is also known as a current asset for the company. Goodwill, just understand, this is a very important question. Just understand, when we talk about the intangible asset, so intangible asset, those assets like the brand, logo, trademark, okay, those assets you can understand you cannot convert like within a 1 year. So intangible asset known as a non-current asset. This is a very important thing to understand, because based on that you may get the question in the examination definitely. Okay, so goodwill, that is your non-current asset, not the non-current not the current asset, it is the non-current asset. Okay, now so trade receivables, current asset, trade payables, that is a current liability. Prepaid expenses, that is a current asset. Inventory, goodwill, that all are the current asset. So if I have to find out the current ratio, so the this would be is equal to your 40,000 plus 10,000 plus 1 lakh plus 15,000. Sorry, 15,000 is not the included here because this is not the current asset. Okay, so 40 plus 10 and plus the 1 lakh rupees, because this we have not to include here. So 50 and the 150 lakh, 1,50,000, right? So this will be the value of your current asset. Sorry, this will be the value of the current asset. So current ratio, that is equal to the current asset 1,50,000 divided by the current liabilities. So current liabilities, that is given here, that is 60,000. So if I have to find out the ratio, so this will become your 2.5:1. Okay, or you can also say that is a 2.5 times. The correct answer of this question, that should be the last part. Okay, I'm hoping that everyone is understanding this, and this is a very important to understand that intangible asset is known as a non-current asset. Okay, right? Next question. The concept of the deriving the rate of the currency A in terms of the currency C through currency B is called as, and this question is taken from the foreign exchange arithmetic, right? This question is taken from the foreign exchange arithmetic, and the correct answer, that should be your chain rule. Okay, when chain rule is what? The concept of deriving the rate of the currency. Okay, suppose that you having the direct quotation available between the rupees and dollar. Okay, you having the direct quotation available between the rupees and the dollar, where you have to find out the relationship between the rupees and the euro. Okay, and there is a direct quotation available in the foreign market between the dollar and the euro. Now with the help of the intermediate currency, when you are formulating the one currency, like you are formulating the direct quotation between the one currency to the another currency, or the third currency, then it is known as a chain rule. Okay, so the correct answer, that should be the chain rule, right? So I'm hoping that you all just understood through this session, right? So if you're liking our effort, liking our content, do not forget to hit the like button on this video. And the very important announcement I would like to say here, that this is a grand book fair, and you are going to get the flat 22% off. And this is this is a limited time period. For this sale is for the limited time period, and you only have to apply the code, that is Y422, in the Adda247 store, and there you will get on all Adda books, you will get the flat 22% off. So please just enroll in that, because this is the last time you are getting the opportunity for the for this kind of the sale, right? You can also enroll for the video courses of the JAIIB, right? There you have to apply the code Y422 for this. You can just you can just apply this code and you will get the discount over that, as well as you can apply the code for the Y422S, and with this code you will get the 17% off in the test packs, because in the last time this is very essential. Then you should practice with the mock test, because through this you can just know about that in which areas you still have to practice for. Okay, so I'm hoping that everyone just understood this session, and now we will meet on the tomorrow at the same time. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me in this class, and share this video to your friends, to your colleagues, so that maximum number of our bankers can join with us in these kind of the sessions. Okay, so